Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us on the 24 News Update. My name is Olushola Oyewole. The State Governor, Mr. Abiodun Yebanji, says his administration will continue to intensify efforts to create a conducive environment for investors and development partners to boost the state's economy. The governor made the promise while hosting First Bank Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Olusegun Alebioshu in his office in Ado-Ekiti. As part of measures to reduce crime rates in Ekiti State, the Ekiti State government has expressed its determination to synergize with the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) for a proper database of all commercial drivers, motorcyclists, and tricyclists. Governor Abiodun Yebanji unveiled the plan in his office in Ado-Ekiti during a visit of the State Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Commission (FRSC), Mr. Sonya Adeoye. The wife of the State Governor, Dr. Olayemi Abiodun Yebanji, has appealed to members of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) Ekiti State chapter to continue to stand by the administration of Governor Abiodun Yebanji and reciprocate its people-oriented policies with support for the second term in office. Dr. Mrs. Oyebanji made the appeal while hosting the leadership of the NLC in her office in Ado-Ekiti. She commended the Labour leaders for conducting themselves with decorum and steering clear of partisan activities that could jeopardize the progress of the state. She stressed that industrial harmony remained critical to achieving the administration's development agenda. In his remarks, the NLC chairman, Comrade Kolapo Olatunde, praised the administration's commitment to workers' welfare, particularly in the areas of prompt salary payments, provision of palliatives, and infrastructural development across the state. The chairperson of the NLC Women's Wing, Mrs. Bade Boyega, commended the governor's wife's empowerment programs under her WHOH WOW Foundation, which she noted had positively impacted widows, orphans, the aged, and other vulnerable groups. And moving on, the Ekiti State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria has held its September prayer forum tagged Elders at the Gate with the theme, I Am That I Am. The program, organized in conjunction with the Ekiti State government, took place at the Government House Chapel at Ado-Ekiti. Meanwhile, the National Orientation Agency (NOAA) has called on the federal and state government to put machinery in motion that will put a stop to some signs out extreme praises among students. Beg your pardon. Meanwhile, the National Orientation Agency has called on the federal and state government to put machinery in motion that will put a stop to some extreme praises among students. At a news conference in Ado, the Director General of the agency, Malam Lare Isa, said some of the practices during graduation ceremony of final year students were not in conformity with Nigeria's values. The federal government has declared Friday, September 5, as a public holiday to mark this year's Eid al-Maulud, the celebration of the birth of Prophet Muhammad. The statement was issued by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Dr. Magdalene Ajani, on behalf of the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo. The government congratulated Muslims across the country and in the diaspora on the occasion, urging them to emulate the Prophet's virtues of peace, love, humility, tolerance, and compassion. The news is coming to you from 24 News Radio and Television at Ado-Ekiti. Thank you very much for staying with us. For news, information, or comments, you can download our application on Google Play Store or monitor us on Facebook, WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok. And now on to the rest of the news. Anambra State has selected August 29, 2026 for the election of local government chairmen and councillors. The Anambra State Independent Electoral Commission, ANSEC, called on all political parties to start obtaining nomination forms along the Enugu-Awka Expressway office. A statement by the chairman of the commission, Genevieve Osakwe, said the exercise was in line with the Electoral Act 2022 and Section 23 of the Anambra State Electoral Law 2024, which empowers the commission to issue election notices. And moving on this evening, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has hinted that his administration would create a state police to effectively address the security challenges across the country. President Tinubu also directed the armed forces to deploy more advanced military hardware and surveillance gadgets in Katsina State to halt the recent spate of attacks on innocent citizens by bandits. Tinubu gave the hint when he received a delegation of eminent citizens of the state led by Governor Diko Rada at the State House, noting that the federal government will consider the operations of a state police and further equip recently deployed forest guards. The full list of subjects in the newly introduced school curriculum has surfaced online after the special assistant to the president on social media, Dada Olusegun, shared it today. Olusegun, in a post on his X handle, displayed an unsigned and unmarked image said to contain the subjects for junior secondary school and senior secondary school. The curriculum, which was unveiled by the federal government on Sunday, introduces compulsory digital literacy and basic entrepreneurship at the GSS level, while programming artificial intelligence and new languages featuring prominently at the SSS level. And from Nasarawa State comes the report that the Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Sule, has decried the low participation of residents across the state in the continuous voter registration exercise conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Sule lamented about the situation in Lafayette, the state capital, during the official flag-off of the state's All Progressives Congress grassroots sensitization voters education on the INEC CVR and the celebration of the second anniversary of Aliyu Bello and Jairus Dagusa as chairman and secretary of the party, respectively. And now, foreign news. A report reaching us from Indonesia says hundreds of women dressed in pink and carrying broomsticks marched to Parliament in Jakarta to protest police abuses and government spending. The demonstrations, now in their second week, have been driven by anger over living costs and lawmakers' perks, and were further inflamed after motorcycle taxi driver Afa Kurniawan was killed when he was struck by a police vehicle. At the rally, members of the Indonesian Women's Alliance said the broomsticks symbolized their push to sweep away the debt of the state, militarism, and police repression. Thank you very much for joining us on the news updates. On that note, I want to wrap it up and tie tight on the news this evening. Thank you so much for staying with us. Good evening.
From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu, Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV.